PFP family, I'm here with my good friend. Well, we haven't known each other that long now, but I feel like we've known
Becoming
each other
good friends.
forever. Becoming
Yes.
good friends. Adam Smith, the owner of Restoration Family Chiropractic. Guys, there's a special offer for you at the end of this as well, so make sure to watch this. It's going to be life giving, I guarantee you. Just some of the things that I've talked with Adam about in terms of how um, him and his company they help people who not only are in pain but help people live healthier, more functional lives. We're going to get into all that, but man, this conversation really will bless you. It's going to help you throughout your days, throughout your lives. I'm so excited for you to be here, man. This
Thanks
is
for having
great.
me.
Thanks
Yeah,
for
looking
being in
forward to it.
PFP.
For sure.
So I'm excited because I've already had dinner and lunch with you and your family, and I've learned some about you, but I have not actually heard the story of Restoration Family Chiropractic and how you guys even became a business.
hmm
So we're gonna get there right after I ask you why. Why? What made you want to start in this industry of chiropractic care?
Yeah, I was. I don't know how much time do we have? You said 20.
As
I got.
long as
I
you
got
want
three
2 hours,
hours.
man.
Um, no, I had always wanted to be in healthcare. I grew up playing sports. I was really active.
Okay.
I wanted to work with athletes, um, but I just wasn't sure in what capacity that looked like.
Yep.
And I thought that was going to be more of like a PT, physical therapy type route.
Okay.
Wanting to be in healthcare, loved just the way God designed the body, how the body worked, and wanted to study that more. I did not want to get into drugs and surgeries and medications through a traditional healthcare route. When it came to PT, though, everyone that gets into PT, they want to do it to potentially work with athletes, but a lot of times they end up working with post-op knee, hip surgeries in different communities, and I just didn't see that as something that would fulfill a burning desire for me or like
Mm-hmm.
kind of meet my passion. So I looked into other modalities of care, so to speak, and my dad actually started to go see a chiropractor.
Okay.
And I said, let me look into that a little bit more. I hadn't heard much about it. And as I'm reading about chiropractic and reading, everything we have inside of us to heal is already there. It's just a matter of unlocking that force in the first place. So the power that made the body heals the body, and that was totally congruent with how God
Is
has
that on your
wired it.
wall? The power
Um,
that made the body heals the
it
body.
is it is not. It's a very popular thing to see on chiropractic walls in the first place, but
Got it.
we have a few things that hope is never lost, and
Okay.
and
Got it. Got it.
and God doesn't make junk. Those are
Okay.
the two
Cool.
things.
Cool.
Yeah. So I just subscribe to that philosophy
Yeah.
on life and health, and I looked into it. I was going to go into full-time ministry through a ministry called Young Life. It's an outreach for high school, middle school
Mm-hmm.
students, and I was back and forth between, and I just said, you know what, I'll just apply to chiropractic school, and if I get in, that's the route I go, and that's how it played out. So my wife and I, we finished college. 10 days later, got married. 10 days later, moved and went to chiropractic school.
What sports did you play?
I played soccer, basketball, baseball, lacrosse. Even through college with intramurals, I played everything that I could. But soccer was my big sport.
Soccer was.
Yep.
Got it. Do you see a lot of soccer players now at Restoration?
We actually have we've seen professional soccer players.
Cool.
We see a lot of student athletes. So our big goal is to help people perform better in life, whether they're and I see people as athletes. So when patients come in, it's like I see you as an athlete, whether it's an actual athlete, a student athlete, a corporate athlete, a
Mm-hmm.
parental athlete. We
Got it.
all have to, as you guys see, perform.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are depending on our performance. So if we can help people perform better, there's greater quality of life there.
How does chiropractic help athletes perform better?
There's a big, I don't say it's a misconception, just a very diluted understanding of chiropractic. A lot of people think chiropractic is just neck and back pain, and
Yeah.
I should just use it as neck and back pain.
Well, before even we had this conversation, I was asking you about like, hey, can we talk about things that are going to help our clients get out of pain and move better?
Yeah,
It's like that's part of it, you said, but I'm excited to hear more about this
yeah,
this
and
piece.
and pain is a very complex thing. There's a National Geographic did a whole thing on pain. They basically one of their volumes was all about pain, and
Okay.
basically was talking about the gist of the message was we don't quite understand pain to the degree that we perceive it. So pain is really a perception of the brain when things are in a state of imbalance or not in
Mm-hmm.
harmony. Your brain puts all these alerts up and it's pain. So doing things like what you're doing here with the training and helping people move better. Movement is medicine. It helps reduce pain.
Mm-hmm.
But the role of chiropractic, when people think of neck and back pain, we see so many people get better with those things, and it just becomes easier to say, oh, your back hurts. we can help, right? We help with back pain. When really we just have to go through the spine to influence more of what we care about, and that's the central nervous system, so the brain and spinal cord. Your brain, and when we're dealing with athletes in the first place,
Mm-hmm.
it's all about proprioception. Where is what is the brain's awareness of where the body's at in space?
Mm-hmm.
And there's injuries that take place when the brain thinks one thing is happening, but physically your body's in a different position. So whether that's shoulder injuries or hip injuries or knee injuries, whatever that might be, if your brain has a better calculated or more accurately calculated position of where your joints are, where your body's at in different
Mm-hmm.
movements, people perform better. I mean, that's just from a movement standpoint, from a like sensory motor control reaction time. There's lots of studies that show getting adjustments actually improve brain's reaction time. So whether that's more like
Hmm.
hand-eye coordination type things or
Yep.
performance cutting, moving, quick jolts. So we work with all types of athletes. We have a few local state champions in
Nice.
baseball,
Okay.
some professional athletes. So we work with athletes of all
Baseball
ages,
is a huge reaction, hand-eye coordination,
especially for
reaction time.
yeah, for that, and then pitchers too. Just the biomechanics of their body, their shoulder. They
Yeah.
have all the hips going. So
Yep.
hitting, pitching, fielding, all types of movements are all controlled by the brain.
Yeah.
If your brain is not properly communicating with the rest of the body, you're in balance, right? You're in a state of imbalance.
Yep.
It's all about bringing balance to brain's perception.
Yep. So, okay, I wasn't expecting to go here, but now I'm curious. So, okay, so why can't stretching alone be what unlocks an athlete's performance? Why do you need to start with the spine?
um, Great question. There's probably two things to that. You have to assess, is there more of a muscle problem going on,
Mhm.
or do you have a joint problem? Okay, so your spine has 24 movable joint segments, meaning we have to assess that. So you have your axial skeleton, which is the central part, and then
Mhm.
you have the appendicular or your extremities. Your extremities attached to the foundation. If the foundation is having faulty biomechanics, things are not
Mhm.
moving, you can almost guarantee that the extremities are not going to move as balanced as they could be,
Yeah.
right? Um, and so when we're dealing with that, it's the joint movement that we look to address. Stretching addresses more muscle problems. Now, a
Mhm.
lot of times muscles are a problem.
Yep.
And I tell someone once asked me, what's one thing that you wish all of your patients did more of? And outside of keeping their appointments, I said stretching, right? So stretching is super important. Flexibility is probably neglected in terms of health. We typically think, I just need to work on my cardiovascular,
Mhm.
I need to work on my strength
Mhm.
training. Flexibility a lot of times is disconnected in that, but
Yeah.
flexibility is huge. Movement is huge. Those individual movements of the spine, though, you could stretch for days. Like
Yep.
I have patients that take their head forward and backwards in an
Yep.
X-ray study, and they might be able to take their head forward, but when I actually do their X-ray motion study analysis overlap, they're actually having several segments in their spine that are not contributing to the
Uh-huh.
movement. So
Yep.
everything has to work together, or you're not achieving optimal health.
Yeah. And in perform sports, you're quite literally not getting to the next level of power, explosiveness, like something's
Output,
being
yeah,
held back,
yeah.
right?
It's all about performance at the end of the day.
Hopefully what you guys are hearing is like I just think about like what is wisdom? Wisdom is getting to the root of a cause and addressing the root of a cause, not the symptoms. But in our world, obviously you know it better than anybody. You guys have a really cool. I saw a jar of all the pill bottles that I guess
Mm-hmm.
people have thrown away after they worked with you, right? For a certain period
It's
of time. Is
Yeah,
that?
it's called our freedom jar. All these medications that people were prescribed
Yeah.
because I mean, there's a lot to unpack in that. We certainly have a broken medical system. There's a lot of people in there that are doing the best based off of their training to help people feel better and live better lives. But
Yep.
I mean, we make up 5% of the world's population here in America, and we consume. We're getting close to 80 to 85% of the world's pharmaceuticals,
Oh
and we're
my
becoming sicker and sicker as a country.
gosh.
You'd think we have all of these resources, we have all of this pharmaceutical medication interventions, but we're actually becoming more unhealthy as a society. So for us to take that much pharmaceuticals, we're managing chronic issues the wrong way.
Yeah.
Now, thank goodness for emergency medicine. Like when I break my arm, I'm going to go to the urgent care and get things taken care of. But when it comes to chronic dysfunction like neck and back pain
Hmm.
or not sleeping good or low energy or all these different types of things. I mean, even things like ADD, ADHD in kids and focus issues and anxiety, all these things. We're just like medicating, and
Mm-hmm.
we're actually keeping ourselves in a stuck health pattern. It's really a stuck sick pattern. So when people start care, it's more than neck and back pain. That's part of what we're trying to help people with, but it's all about helping the brain. And when
Yeah.
the brain is helped and it's clearly communicating brain and body through your nervous system, I mean, people are like, I don't need this medication anymore. So we celebrate that. We have a bell we ring when people are
Mm-hmm.
off their medications, and we see, I mean, we're having to buy a bigger jar every year because it's filling up so much.
People are getting rid of their medications.
Yeah.
Man,
So to your point
that's
of
so
the
good.
root cause, I love that you had said that phrase. That's a phrase we use
Mm-hmm.
all the time in our office. There are in healthcare, there's the band-aid approach, which is, I mean, you probably work with your athletes. There is no quick fix to
Right.
performance.
Right.
So you can either slap a band-aid on it and sure, you know, it's covered for a moment. It's like your check engine light going on, and you just put a piece of tape over it so you don't see the check engine light.
Yeah.
The symptom is addressed, but the underlying problem that's causing the light to go on, or the underlying problem that's causing the symptom to appear, is not being addressed.
Yeah.
So true healing is root cause healing.
Yep.
Quick fixes are a facade. They're a myth. There really isn't anything. All good things take time. There's a principle in chiropractic. There is no process that does not require time.
Mm-hmm.
So good things require time, but as you can see with your athletes, it's not always convenient
Yeah.
to take time, right?
Yeah.
We live really busy lives, and it's actually busy is probably a thief of our health.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, it's like get out of pain quick. That's what we get marketed to, right? Get out of pain quick, get your results fast,
When
and
we
then
have
they
this,
don't
yeah, we have this
last.
world of what Amazon Prime, where not
Yeah.
only is it now 2-day free shipping, you can get same-day
Same
free
day.
shipping. All
Yep.
the social media, this
Praise God. Same day
I,
shipping.
I'm really grateful for it, but unfortunately, it creates this change in our mental capacity of like, oh, I
100%.
should get this quick too.
Yep.
And it just takes time for the body to learn new things because it took
Yeah.
time for your body to get to that point in the first place.
What are the most common quick fixes you see people turning to? And then maybe tied in with that, like most common symptoms that people are experiencing that honestly you guys have been able to help through chiropractic care and through the other things that you do.
Sure. I mean, real easy, people are looking to like over the counter medications of, hey, my back is really hurting me, or this is really bothering me. I need to take this to sleep, or I need to take this to get through my day, when really we should be slowing down. Like our symptoms are a blessing. Like
Yeah.
our body's saying, hey, something's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't we just slow down so I can heal
Yeah.
rather than what's next, what's next, what's next? This
Yep.
go,
Yep.
go, go, fight or flight stress response. So people will do like a quick fix of that. People will try things like topical things like biofreeze or
Yep.
something. People will try chiropractic for like, hey, let me just get in for 2 or 3 adjustments and help me feel better. It's like, okay, that's not really like
Yeah.
the ultimate like addressing the root cause. So those are some common things that I see. As far as symptoms, I mean, the majority of people come to see us for neck and back pain,
Mm-hmm.
headaches even, but that's because that's how we have educated people on how health should work. Take care of your health when you have a symptom.
Mm-hmm.
To me, that's sick care. It's not health care. Get healthy, keep healthy. That's health. That's true healthcare. The
Yep.
preventative, proactive.
Yep.
So movement that you guys do is a huge part of that as well. So neck pain, back pain, we help a lot with headaches. Like we help with these things. We have these conversations, but we have the bigger conversation of, acid reflux. That's a huge thing we see improve with patients.
Mm. Interesting.
Sleeping better, better energy. I mean, energy is really defines the ability to do work. So one of the big things we help people with is energy. Um, Breathing issues, asthma. I mean, people coming off their inhalers in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
We see patients for things like infertility. Not that we treat these things. I want to be clear
Correct.
about that.
Right.
We actually don't even treat back pain. We take care of the imbalance causing the back pain. We
Yep.
take care of the imbalance leading to this dysregulation in hormones and chemicals, which then ultimately leads to things like infertility in the first place. So, it's not like we walk around saying we treat infertility, come see us,
Yeah.
but we see a lot of moms who have struggled for a long time, a lot of families who have struggled for a long time they got the news like we're pregnant and we didn't even know that we were told we were never going to get pregnant again. Have a patient currently, she was told in September, because you have this issue, you'll never get pregnant. That was what they told her. And she's been under care for 3 or 4 months, and
Wow.
she's about, I think, about 9 weeks pregnant now,
That's
which is
awesome.
huge. So we're getting an opportunity to change lives.
Mm-hmm.
but it's not a process that people typically think of when they think of, let me just get in and get a quick adjustment in a chiropractic office.
Yep. What's the quickest, because it takes time, of course, what's the quickest, not that it's a guarantee, but what's the quickest you have seen people get relief from their neck pain, back pain, headaches, for example, right? Some of these things that just bother people chronically throughout the days.
Mm.
Like after one visit, have you ever seen somebody like have significant improvement, or does it usually take five? Like what's the fastest it
Yeah,
usually happens?
every person is different.
Yep.
Everybody heals differently, right? There are no guarantees in health, but there are
Yep.
proven strategies to help.
Yep.
I have seen patients, and we say this all the time, like it'll take time, and we expect miracles every day.
Yep.
I've had patients who, after their first adjustment, all of a sudden they sleep through the night again when they've
Mm.
never slept through the night. I've seen people who are like, I don't really have neck pain after one adjustment. Is it always that way? No, but people could respond very quickly with one adjustment. I've had a patient who had, low back pain was the big complaint. There were some other lifestyle factors involved that, poor diet, smoking, things like that, that
Mm-hmm.
really delay the process. And it took him about 6 or 7 months to really have a big breakthrough.
Mm. Yeah.
But to the point that he's like, by the way, I woke up and didn't have any back pain. I thought I should let you know that. I
Mm-hmm.
was like, yeah, that'd be a great thing to let me know for sure. I'm happy to see you're moving better. Your brain's not perceiving so much aches and
Mm-hmm.
pain. So there's a lot of things that we teach people at home to do
Mm-hmm.
as far as like educational, because most people don't understand this, and maybe some of your listeners have heard this, but the root word of doctor in Latin actually means to teach, not to fix.
Hmm.
So
Interesting.
a lot of people go to the doctor and say, I have this problem, fix me. It's like, no, 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 you have this problem. Here's what's contributing to it. I will come alongside you and help you in that journey. We'll partner with you, but you need to be doing these things at home on your own.
Hmm.
So really, we should all be in the driver's seat for our health. We shouldn't be
That's a good
dependent
point.
on doctors to make us healthy.
Yeah.
You probably work with athletes like, hey, you're responsible for your outcomes here, right? And
Yeah.
it's also like a mental fortitude, a mental toughness of like ownership. So
Yeah.
same thing in our health in our office. Like you got to own your health. We'll help, but you got to own it.
So what would be, I mean, maybe coming to you as part of it, because it sounds like you guys sometimes have been the first domino that a person like comes to you first, and then that you guys educate them, teach them these things, and then they start to take control of their health. So maybe the answers come to you guys, but like, what is a good first step if it weren't if they weren't to come to you first? What's a good first step for someone that's hearing this and being like, I that's me. Like I've put too much of my hope in the doctors and in our medical system, and I just have been kind of sitting in the back seat, letting somebody else, society, drive my health, which is an important part of my life, of course. What's like a good first step for somebody?
You mean like in their thought process of it?
Maybe thought process, and then even that first action. Do you go see a holistic, nutrition specialist? Do you see,
Hmm.
like what are the options for people?
Yeah, I think there's a lot
It
to
can be overwhelming.
there's a
You
lot
know?
to unpack there
Yeah.
for sure. There's let's see how we can start this. So there's three big stress categories. A lot of times people say, "Oh, I'm stressed." We throw that term around like
Hmm.
it's like a common term, like, "Hey, how you doing? I'm busy," right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, we're all busy. So the big thing is stress is not just like I have a lot on my schedule or I have a lot of deadlines to meet. That's one part of stress, but gravity alone is a stressor.
Hmm.
Sitting in these chairs like this for an extended period of time
By the way, your posture even sitting is great. I'm looking over. I gotta like sit up straight when
would
I'm
be
around this guy.
would be a stressor to the body, right? I got to practice what I preach, right? If I'm going to have people sit up straight, I got to make sure I'm sitting up straight too. Don't worry, I slouch into positions. Um,
Gravity, the stressor.
Gravity's a stressor. I mean, working out is a stressor, right? Even though it's good,
Yep.
there's good
Yep.
stress. Most stress is good. It's just how well are we adapting to the stress?
Hmm.
That's the difference in our health. So health is not do I feel good or feel bad. It's am I adapting to the stressors in my life? And
Yeah.
if you're not healthy. So there's chemical stressors, the food we put in our body, the air we breathe, products we put on our body too. There's the mental emotional stressor, uh, things happening at home, obligations, duties at work, and all these different types of things. And then the physical, poor posture, that's huge. A lot of times people are just like, again, with Amazon Prime, it's like I can just look up a video online and stretch more. And while they might feel better stretching, it doesn't quite address all the problems. So
Yeah.
the challenge with this question is there isn't a silver bullet to health.
Yep.
It's establishing a lot of core things. Eating clean, that's one thing. So nutrition and inflammation in the body is huge.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's got to be part of it. Moving your
What are the
body.
most common inflammatory foods that you see people consuming? Not to go too far outside of the point of
outside of
this?
my scope
Yeah, it's
there.
out of your
Yeah, I
scope.
mean, like I don't give, I give some generic nutritional
Yeah,
device,
yeah,
or advice. I mean, the biggest thing is probably ultra processed foods and sugars. Like
got it.
sugar is public enemy number one.
Okay.
I mean, even getting down to like heart disease and cholesterol,
Yep,
and
yep.
this may bother, if you have listeners that, focus on heart disease and stuff like this. Cholesterol is not a bad thing. I'm going to say that again. Cholesterol is not a bad thing.
Yeah, I
Statins
agree
are
with
the
that.
research coming out on statins, which help lower cholesterol. They're actually saying we should not be prescribing statins at all.
Yeah,
It's really what's happening is the mechanism is sugar inflaming the inner lining of the blood vessels, and that creates this inflammation, and then cholesterol kind of gets caught in the
mm-hmm,
mix of that
mm-hmm.
as the blood vessels, start the plaque buildups.
Yeah,
That's really trying to repair a lot of this inflammation going on. So, sugar, processed sugar, is probably if we could cut a lot of that out in processed foods and just shop the perimeter of the grocery store, we'd probably have a lot of reduction in inflammation. And then you can get into things like gluten and dairy and processed dairy and stuff like that. But sugar is probably, if we can cut that out of our diets, that'd be huge for inflammation.
yep. I love that. That's good.
So like as far as people, wanting a quick fix, like really just asking for help,
Yeah.
partnering with people. There are people who
Not
specialize
even a
in
quick
this.
fix, just like the first fix. Like, what's the first thing?
The first
Because
step
that
is
sounds
getting
like
started. So
nutrition. Yeah. Okay.
nutrition is huge. Moving your body's huge. There's so many things people can do at home.
Yeah.
What we do is address the things that the body is not working or fixing on its own.
Yeah.
Does that make
I
sense?
was gonna
So
say because you can't like I'll be sitting and I've got this thing right now, man, where I just go like this and then boom and like every time it's like pop pop pop, which is probably telling me like I should probably actually go see you guys because that might not be normal, but
yeah,
like there's that, but like it seems like what you do, like you can't really replace it because you guys even have a unique technique. I don't know if you want to talk about that at all, but
yeah, we can.
the point of it is like to go see you, it's something that you can't do on your own. I don't think. Like, is there any way a person can replicate? Like, people can honestly work out on their own. They just don't have motivation. Like, so they
Yeah.
don't need us. I think that people kind of need your services because they can't physically do what you do on their own. Make
They
sense?
in their first day of chiropractic school, they said, okay, here's the thing. You're going to learn how to adjust people. The number one rule is you should never adjust yourself. So like I have to get adjusted myself, and I do.
Should I stop doing this then?
That one, a lot of people think like I crack, or
It's
the
pretty
worst,
good.
the worst is when people like spouses step on the other person's back. They're like, oh yeah, my spouse steps on my back and cracks it. There's this, it's
Raise your hand if you're guilty.
yeah, there's this idea in chiropractic, or at least in the general population, that the crack of the back is the adjustment or what
Got
needs to
it.
happen. As you move your head side to side, the segments in your neck that are already moving are the ones moving, and it's that pop is just gas leaving a joint. It doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of times there is a crack or traditional pop associated with an adjustment because the joint is opening up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not this grossly, but the joint is opening up, and that gas releases and makes that like pop
Yep.
noise type
Yep.
thing. So when you're moving your neck, the ones that are moving are making the pop noise already. The ones that are stuck are still stuck.
Mm.
So the pop that you hear is actually not stuck bones moving again. It's just gas leaving the joint. And it feels good because it bombards the brain
Mm-hmm.
with sensory information. So your brain forgets about tension or
Interesting.
discomfort, anything
Let's
like
see
that.
what time we're at. So I gotta make sure this part right here I like pull out so that people can listen to this again because
Yeah.
that was really important.
Yeah.
What you just said.
Yeah. So again, people think the pop is what they need. Like, I'll have people come in, they're like, hey, crack me like a glow stick. It's like, let's have the conversation. Like, that's not what your health
Oh my
needs.
gosh.
It
Do you
might,
remember the first time someone said that to you when they came in?
yeah, it took me, I was like, wow, I haven't had, that was in my first year of practice. Someone said, crack me like a glow stick. And I was like, I think we got a disconnect here. Let's set expectations a little bit. So, yeah, the biggest thing, there's two thieves of health: procrastination and convenience.
Yeah.
We put off our health because we either don't want to invest the time, we don't want to invest finances. And
Mm-hmm.
a lot of times people talk about, hey, I can't do chiropractic because it's expensive, or I don't have the extra money or something like that. And I don't think that's like a knock on anybody. I
Yeah.
think being financially wise with how you spend your money is super important. With health, it's an investment,
Yeah.
not an expense. Does that make sense? So
Oh, of
like
course.
an expense is you buy something and there really isn't much of a return. It's just you bought it. An investment is you're putting your resources into something and getting something in return.
Yep.
Health works that way. So some people need the training, need the help, motivation. They want to come alongside other people and have
Yep.
that.
Yep.
But a lot of people will put off their health because the time's not right.
Hmm.
And my encouragement to you, to myself, to your listeners is there's never a perfect time to address your health. Now is always the best time to address
Of
health,
course. Yeah.
because it's a lot easier to take care of things before they become worse. And
Hmm.
if we don't do anything, that's a choice in of itself. Like no action is your action choice.
Yeah.
Does that make sense, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
even though we think I'm not doing anything, you're choosing not to do anything,
Yeah. Yep.
and eventually the underlying things just get worse. So
Yeah.
first step is just saying like I need to do something and just start somewhere. It doesn't have to be perfect,
Yeah.
but doing something is better than nothing.
Yep. So a couple times throughout this conversation, we've said movement is medicine. You've said
Mm-hmm.
that a couple times, and we're talking more. I think when we were talking about that, at least the way I was hearing it was like it's more of like the macro, like you got to move your body, you got to. But then when you were just talking about the whole like Andrew cracking his neck thing, and the vertebrae that are already moving are the ones popping,
Mm-hmm.
but the ones that are stuck are the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Are you saying also like those ones that are stuck are actually part of the problem if I'm having neck pain or whatever? Like literally vertebrae that are stuck that are not moving are
Yeah.
part of people's issues in different all sorts of different symptoms that they have. It could be coming down to the fact that they're just their vertebrae, their spine's not moving properly.
Yeah, and that's the misconception with chiropractic that we spend so much time educating on because knowledge is power. The more we know about
Yeah.
something, the more likely we are to make a more informed decision.
Yeah.
A lot of people think like when it comes to chiropractic, it's just for pain management. I'll go to the chiropractor when my neck hurts, and when my neck stops hurting, then I'm good until my neck hurts again. That's the symptom-based sick care model. Like the underlying problem is there. Whether you feel good or feel bad, let's continue to address the underlying problem.
Yeah.
So chiropractic in our office is our goal is to help get people well and keep people well. Chiropractic is a tool in our health outcomes,
Yeah.
just like stretching, just like lifting, just like cardio, running, and things like that. Chiropractic helps address the individual specific stuck segments because I give people stretches to do. I give people movements and devices and things like that at
Yeah.
home to help their bodies move better. But if we're not addressing the specific stuck segments of those movable segments in your spine,
Yep.
it's all about the brain. The brain constantly craves information. Like as we sit here, our brain is literally assessing everything around us, the lights, the walls, this, the floor, someone coming in and out of that door, and it's always on alert. Your brain is either perceiving things as threat or safe. And the more information you give the brain as far as feedback goes, like I would imagine with your team here and staff and stuff like that, like it's like, hey, let's have feedback, right?
Yeah.
You work better as a business, as a company with feedback. Our bodies are the same way. Our
Yeah.
brain is constantly craving feedback. When you have those stuck bones in your spine, you have points of your spine that are not sending feedback to the brain, and the brain's like, where's my report? Like, what's going on in that area? And then it'll start to send off those alerts.
Yeah.
So our adjustments are to change the brain, because if you don't change the brain, you're actually not healing. It's a band-aid.
Yep.
Does that make sense? So
Yep.
it's all neurologically driven, and that's the difference between our office and at least what we do. I mean, chiropractic was founded in that in the first place, but we've just kind of gotten off into this neck back pain model.
Yep.
Our office is let's change the brain. It takes time, it takes frequency, it takes repetition, but uh, you know, everything takes time and repetition. Like
Yeah.
at least things worth
If you want it to work long term.
at
Yep.
least things worth pursuing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Man, that's so good. Well, PFP family, couple things. Number one, I hope you go back and listen to some of those parts because as you were listening to it, you probably had either your kids or your spouse or someone in your life, a friend that you're like, oh, really want to get this over to them. Do it, right? Go make sure you get these segments over to them to help them with their health. Second thing is Adam has graciously offered. So at Restoration Family Chiropractic, I got to go visit them and see what they do. It's a really special place, guys, and I don't recommend a ton of places for people unless they're really, really good, especially for you guys, PFP family. But it is worth going there. And what he's done is their normal intro package for new clients. The value of it is $350, and it's worth it because you get X-rays. It's basically the starting point to make sure that you do everything he said, which is find the root cause, address the root cause, and then your life can be obviously a lot better long term. You don't have to keep dealing with the same symptoms over and over again. So $350 would be worth it. But Adam has offered to do this intro for you guys that includes everything for
40.
$40, $40. $40, and I don't think they could do it for hundreds of people, which we have hundreds of people in the PFP community. So do this fast, right? I'll put the information in the post so that you can get directly connected with Restoration and get over there ASAP. Man, thanks so much for sharing all this wisdom with everybody and with me. I definitely
Mhm.
learned a lot more, and just getting like around you. And I'm a pretty healthy guy to begin with. We're pretty health conscious, nutrition conscious. But like every time I get around you and talk with you, I'm like I just find another thing in my life that I'm trying to band-aid over as far as my health goes instead of addressing the root cause. And then, like you said, God created us to be able to heal without outside intervention necessarily, right?
Yeah,
Without medicine and the stuff we go towards. So
100%.
um, I'm better because of our conversation today, man. Thanks so much.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Again, I'm
Appreciate you, brother.
always love the opportunity to talk about health and healing the way it
Yeah.
was designed. So,
Well, hopefully some of these guys come and see you to talk more.
yeah, let us know. Happy to have you in. Just mention that you're part of the PFP family, and we'll
Perfect.
extend that special to you. It's the first two appointments in our office. It's consultation. We'll do spinal exam and including X-rays. So, um,
2 appointments for $40.
so the two appointments, the X-rays are included, and then the second appointment we'll actually go over. Okay, here's what we found, and here's some solutions moving forward. So,
Man. All right. Make sure to do that, guys. We will talk soon. Thanks for jumping on and thanks for listening. Peace.